Hey everybody, I just wanted to do this IXL video along with you. So I'm going to toggle between my document camera and also the IXL. So let's get started. It says the surface area of this cone is 967.12 square inches. What is the slant height? So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to have to look at my formula sheet because I know that it's a cone and they want surface area. So I'm going to jot down my cone formula. And that is pi RL plus pi R squared. The problem asks me for the slant height. Give me just a second and this will focus. So the problem is asking me for the slant height. It gives me the surface area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug in that 967.12 equals, remember this is IXL, so they want us to use 3.14 for pi. And so it gives us the radius is 11. We don't know the slant height, so that is L. And I'll share my screen in a minute, but I'm writing all this down. All right, so what I had to do was find my surface area formula and then plug in what I know. From here, I need to grab a calculator because there are certain things that I can calculate here. So I'll do the 3.14 times the 11. All right, and that gives me 34.54. So 967.12 equals 34.54 L plus, then I need to do 3.14 times 11 squared. That is 379.94. From here, I need to subtract 379.94 from both sides. All right, once I do that, I get 967.12 minus 379.94, and that is 587.18 is 3754 L. From here, I need to get rid of that 34.54, so I'll divide both sides by 34.54. All right, and it gives me my slant height is 17. Okay, but I want to read my question very carefully and make sure it's not asking me for anything else because they do get trickier. Let's see, what is the slant height? It is 17 inches. Our next one, it says, what is the volume of this cone? So the first thing I need to do is look at my formula sheet and figure out the volume formula. I'll take that formula and I'll write it down and I'll plug in what I know. The height is going to be 20. The radius is 13. So volume is equal to pi r squared h. So I'm just going to plug in this information. I'll share my screen in just a second, but let me write this down. All right. So I've got pi r squared h for volume of a cone. I believe it's divided by 3. Yeah, it's a cone. Divided by 3. So I have to do the same thing here. All right, so pi r squared h divided by 3. 3.14 is pi. 13 is my radius. My height is 20. Now I just plug in the stuff. 3.14 times 13 squared times 20 gives me 10,613.2. Divide it by 3, and it gives me my volume is 3537.73, and it stops there. So these problems have been asking me to round to the nearest hundredth. So nearest hundredth is to the second decimal point. So I am done here. I don't even need to round because my answer gave me my second decimal point and nothing else. So I will just plug that number in, 3537.73 cubic feet. All right, what is the surface area of the cylinder? So surface area of a cylinder, the first thing I'm gonna do is write down my formula. Surface area of a cylinder is equal to 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. All right, so 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. I'll just show you that I wrote that down. Now I need to figure out what the h and what the r is for the cylinder. So if I look, it gives me the diameter is 8. That means my radius is 4. R equals 4. My height for this is 13. I have everything I need now to plug into my formula, so I'm going to do that. Surface area is 2 times pi. They want us to use 3.14 times 4 times 13 plus 2 pi r squared. All right, so now I just plug this stuff into the calculator. 2 times 3.14 times 4 times 13. That is 326.56 with no extra decimals. And then 2 times 3.14 times 16, because 4 squared is 16, that's 100.48. Now I will add those two numbers together, and my surface area is 427.04. It gives me just 2 decimals, so I don't need to round up or down. I just will type it as it is, 427.04. 427.04. The next one, what is the volume of this triangular pyramid? It tells me what shape it is. It's a pyramid, all right? So what I'll do is I'll look for volume of a pyramid formula, and when I do that, it is big B times H over 3, volume of a pyramid. Now, in order to find big B, I need to find the area of this triangle here. So I will redraw it, and then I'll share my screen in a second, but it is a 12 meter by 8 meter triangle. So I redrew it here. All right, in order to find big B, remember area of a triangle is base times height divided by 3. So I'll do 12 times 8 divided by 3. 12 times 8 is 96 divided by 3. My big B is 32. All right, big B is 32. Now I need to find my height of my pyramid, not the triangle on the bottom. Don't care about that anymore. So from top to bottom, my height is going to be 6. So I'll plug that into my formula. Big B is 32. My height is 6 divided by 3. All right, so I have to do 32 times 6. 192 divided by 3 is 64. So my volume is 64 even. All right, so 64 cubic meters. Uh-oh, we did something wrong here. Let's see. 1/3. Oops, I forgot to divide. Hold on a minute. Big B is 96. We found the area is 48 divided by 2. Oh, I see what I did wrong here. So when I was calculating my big B, this was supposed to be BH divided by 2. I was looking at this formula right here on accident. So let me recalculate that B. So 12 times 8 is 96 divided by 2. Okay, so that makes more sense. My big B would have been 48 instead of 32. So if I plug in that 48 times 6 is 288 divided by 3. Yes, and that gives me my 96. All right, so that was my mistake. Whenever I was calculating big B, I was supposed to do 12 times 8 divided by 2. I was accidentally looking at this formula right here. So 12 times 8 divided by 2 gave me 48 instead of 32. So I just swapped that into my formula. Still the same process, made a mistake there. Volume should have been 96 instead of 64, which is what it tells me. So anytime you get something wrong, please make sure to look at the explanation on it and see what went wrong. Don't just click got it, because if you don't understand what you're doing wrong, you're not really learning. All right, so I noticed that they had gotten a different number for area of the base, and that's when I figured out what I did wrong. Okay, so let's move on from there. What is the volume? If I look at this, it's a prism. So I need to look at the volume of a prism formula, and that is big B times H, all right? So this is a prism. Now, your bases, they can be any two for this one that are across from each other and are identical, what I'm going to do is, let me snip it so I can color it. I'm going to use this as my base. You can't really see. Here will be my base. And it's a 3 by 12, okay? So big B times H. So big B is going to be 3 times 12. 12 times 3, and that is 36. All right, so 36. Now, my height is my distance from base to base, which means it is 15. All right, so I've got my big B is 36, as you can see here on the screen, because I'm about to change it. And my height is 15. All right, 36 times 15 is all I need to do, because it's a prism. 36 times 15. And I should get the volume is equal to 540. 540. All right. What is the surface area of this triangular pyramid? Okay, so surface area of a triangular pyramid, I need to look at my formula sheet. And pyramid, it says surface area is perimeter times slant height over 2 plus big B. All right, so I need to find my perimeter of my base. Looks like 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is 6. So my perimeter is 6. My slant height starts at the tip, goes down to the base. Looks like it's also 2. So my slant height is 2. Now the area of my base, I need to look at this triangle on the bottom. And remember the area of a triangle, I'll try to get it right this time, but it is base times height divided by 2. So I'm going to look at my picture and I'll share my screen in just a second. It's got a dotted line down the middle. That's the height of our triangle on the bottom. So the height of that is 1.7. 1.7. All right, so let me share my screen. My document camera. So I kind of jot all this stuff down. We found that the perimeter was 6, the slant height was 2, and now I have to find big B. Now big B is the area of this triangle here, and it's base times height divided by 2. I was thinking about 2, and I wrote it. Making sure I write the right number this time. So that's 2 times 1.7 divided by 2. 2 times 1.7 divided by 2. The 2's cancel out here, but big B would be a 1.7. So now I have everything I need in my formula. P is 6 times my slant height, 2 divided by 2, plus 1.7. My 2's cancel, and I get 6 plus 1.7. My surface area would be 7.7. All right, so it tells me to round to the nearest hundredth. I don't have a second decimal here. I mean, I can throw in a 0 here if we want to. I believe 7.7 should be fine. The IXL scares me a little bit, so I'm going to put the 0 there. Brilliant. Okay, I'm going to stop this video so that way I can make a second one. I want to work up to a score of an 80.